talking to Daniel Kibet, a reporter at NTV, a Nation Media Group. He's going to be helping us understand what is happening within the Forum for Democratic Change. As Chris Higenyi, over the last 1 month, we've been interviewing officials and commentators here on Morning at NTV to help us understand why once Uganda's most formidable opposition party is crumbling. Welcome to the program, Daniel Kibet.
Thank you, Chris.
First and foremost, Mr. Kibet sounds like an athlete.
I am. I mean, just see my dressing code, everything.
How come you haven't won any medals for Uganda?
Well, that's a discussion for another day. For now,
for another day.
Yeah, but I'm sure if I'm given a chance to compete, I'm sure I can do something.
All right, no doubt about that. The Forum for Democratic Change is flattering to deceive, especially when it comes to how it conducts its politics. Right now, what we see is a storm, and this particular storm is not violent, it is panicking. You know, when a storm panics, then there's a lot within its way that gets destroyed, and that's what the FDC is doing right now, destroying itself and destroying the political landscape as it ought to play out. What is your take on what's happening, before I can even go into asking any direct questions on what the cause of the problems is?
Well, Chris, some time back, around towards the end of June or July, of course there were rumors everywhere that FDC was headed towards this direction. Some party leaders were in disagreement with others over a number of issues, which for now we only know about one or two. So at one press conference, I really faced the party president, Patrick Oboyamriat, and asked him, is it true that this party is headed to a split? Is it true that there are wrangles? Even before all these things came up, he faced me and told me, yes, you're not far away from rumors. It is true there are disagreements within the party, but just like any other home, you cannot expect that there will be peace all the time, but we are going to sit down as leaders, party leaders, and see how to solve these issues. Few weeks from there is when the accusations of some party members, specifically Nandala Mafabi and the president, getting money from or receiving money from allegedly State House, apparently, yes. And that's where the whole issue started from. Of course, towards the end of July, the elders released a report, because after that disagreement, a committee of elders at FDC was tasked to investigate and find out if indeed those allegations were true of apparently getting money from State House. But what happened? Later on, the committee came up with a report and disputed those allegations. And looks like a faction led by, Dr. Kiza Bezje and the team were not happy with that. And of course, they thought maybe there are loopholes that the elders committee did not tackle in that particular report. So from there, we've seen a lot of things come up now that the party chairman is looking to organize a extraordinary national delegates conference and stuff like that. Other members saying you will not organize, but remember there's another national executive, national delegates conference of 6th. A lot of issues, and that is perhaps what we're seeing right now did not just start this year. Maybe these are things, these are issues, these are differences that have been there for quite a while.
That's an interesting perspective that you bring on board. What is happening right now didn't begin pretty much like 2 months ago. When you go back in time and look at the split that saw Major General, the retired Gregory Mugisha Muntu, decided to part ways and form a new party, a disagreement on the kind of strategy the opposition party needed in order to drive forward in its efforts to oust not only the national resistance movement but President Yoweri Museveni. I get the feeling that the fracturing of the party at that particular moment in time has not allowed it to heal, and pretty much what is happening now is a continuation of that particular lack, or rather a departure for other different factions to go onto one onslaught. And Kiza Besigye, Mugisha Muntu, and some historicals who might be behind the scenes still do not disagree on some fundamentals.
You're right, Chris. And much as Kiza Besigye, for now, calls himself an activist and is out of FDC, but he has an important role to play in that party. One is one of the founding members of the party. He is a former party president. He was
four times
running president and on FDC ticket. So much as he's out of the party for now, but his role is very critical in that party. And so some people will see him as an elder, a leader who would give advice and who would give direction so that the party can survive this current storm. But I think to some extent he is doing that. But of course the Najanankumbi side, that is the myriad, Nandela Mafabi and the team, are of course accusing him of siding with the chairman, and that is where the disagreement is. Of course, the other day, I think Wednesday, we were speaking to the party president, and he told us that apparently it seems there's a political coup. A team of leaders or ex-FDC leaders would want to get rid of the current regime. He calls it a coup anyway, and he says that cannot happen. You cannot just come from nowhere and eject a legitimately elected party leadership. So
let me just remove the accusations and allegations that were labeled against the president, Patrick Boy Amuriat, and the Secretary General, Nandala Mafabi, and put that aside. What do we have left as a point of disagreement?
For the moment, it is the National Delegates Conference.
That came pretty much 2 weeks ago.
It is.
About who is going to hold what, who has the powers to call what, before the disagreement got heated on account of accusations of getting money that sucked in, of course, Kizza Besigye, who had received cash from one of them and decided to note down the codes and stuff like that. What is the point of departure on ideology? Are we still seeing an FDC that can't find its foot on whether it goes activist or it goes aggressive?
Chris, I would say for now, perhaps what FDC or what the party leader, party president Patrick Boy Amuriat is trying so much to push for is dialogue. Dialogue. We spoke to him some 2 days ago, specifically Wednesday, and he told us much as the FDC is going through a lot right now, but what he wants to see is a dialogue. And he's given the chairman that opportunity. He said, I'm going to speak to the chairman, him and the team, and see if they can actually resolve these issues. Remember, Chris, on Tuesday, about some district FDC district leaders, comprising chairpersons, secretary generals, came to the headquarters, Najanankumbi, from 113 districts. So they submitted a petition tasking the party president to take disciplinary action against Chairman Birigwa for allegedly going against the party constitution, to organize an extraordinary delegates conference even without consulting with top party leaders. But when we engaged party president on that matter, he said, you know what, as a leader, I think I just don't have to go towards that direction, but what I will do for now is engage him and see if we can overcome this. But of course, what preceded that is that police issued a notice suspending that particular extraordinary national delegates conference, which by the way was supposed to take place on 14th. Birigwa had written to police requesting for security, but Nandela Mafabi again, as the party secretary general, wrote a letter to police saying that if that particular event is to be allowed to go on, it could cause chaos, and so police, based on that ground, maybe to suspend it.
Interesting there. For the uninitiated in the politics of the Forum for Democratic Change, perhaps I should be very clear, because Daniel Kibet has afforded us the constitution of the Forum for Democratic Change here. It speaks of the fact that the chairperson has extraordinary powers to call for a meeting. In other words, an extraordinary meeting shall be convened by the chairperson in some circumstances that have been listed. But now that we have a special national delegates conference that is being sought by the chairman, and it's not just the normal national delegates conference. This one required a month's notice and not 3 as required of the normal one. The bone of contention is that in calling a special national delegates conference, the president or any other party official can actually contest the chairman's decision based on whatever grounds that they have. What I know right now is that what will be discussed at the special national delegates conference is the ousting of the president and the embattled Secretary General. Do you think this will end in a good way?
Chris, definitely. For now, as things stand, we are not even sure if that delegates conference will go on as planned. And well, yesterday the chairman was speaking to us and saying, even after police writing to him and assuring him that they were not going to provide that security for him, he said he will try to engage the police again on the matter, and if everything fails, well, he said he's got a birthday loading, his birthday, and he says he may use that time to celebrate his birthday. But what he insists, what he insists is that he is doing this for the owners of the party. I don't know who the owners of the party are, but for him, he says his role as the chairman is to sit down whenever there are differences in the party and try to see if the issues can be resolved amicably. So that is what he's fronting. But the issue of contention here is whether the chairman really has that mandate to call for extraordinary delegates meeting. But look, how do you even call for an extraordinary delegates meeting? There are several factors. One, in case of a crisis within the party, say for example, God forbid,
we have one.
God forbid the party president passes on. That alone attracts a quick extraordinary meeting called for by the chairman.
Yeah.
The other thing is, if in case there are disputes within the party, that needs urgent attention. What we are witnessing right now. So just to go through this constitution, when you see Article 23 of this particular FDC Constitution, Clause 5, it says, an extraordinary meeting shall be convened by the chairperson in any of the following circumstances. They go on to list about 4 of them. But A, when the chairperson so decides. So it looks like the chairperson can just be there and say, you know what, things are going south, so we really need to sit down and see if we can. Yeah, that is his right.
The problem is what will be decided at that special National Delegates Conference.
But what happens? Just a quick one, Chris. So the matter of contention here is the FDC leaders at Nankumbi are not contending that the chairman doesn't have these powers. But what they're contending is, allegedly, he did not consult with other party members, the SG, the treasurer, the president, but on the other side, the chairman says he did that. Remember, it is the party to fund the extraordinary
Can't the chairman provide any evidence of consultation?
That is what we've tried to chase, to pursue, but you know, as a journalist, sometimes getting this information is a little bit
that brings
tricky.
Me to the question on the journalism aspect of covering this particular story. When it comes to a lack of forthright information coming from sources, on the outside of it, what FDC is grappling with is not money from Museveni or National Resistance Movement. It is a posturing for positions ahead of 2026. Is that something you agree with, or perhaps I'm completely off target?
What I think, but of course, for now, I'll just
people want to take up positions. People want to be secretary generals. People want to be president. But the problem is, those who are holding these positions also perhaps may want to retain them, and the battle is on. So any reason anyone can come up with to begin the crisis is pretty much politics of the day.
True. For now, anybody can come up with this or her own allegation. What you're saying can be right, can be wrong. We do not know what the leaders there are thinking exactly. Mark you that the elections for the National Executive Committee will happen on 6th of October, some few weeks away from now.
That's right.
And they intend to elect top party leaders, including the president, the SG, and all these other National Executive Committee positions. So it could be a strategy that maybe those outside the party have lost confidence and trust in the current regime. Maybe they feel the current leadership is not aggressive enough to you know, such a debate can really come into play. But the ones in charge are like, no way, we are here. And that takes me back to what I told you earlier on. Party president saying that there is a seemingly attempted coup within the party, which says it cannot happen. So it's a little bit difficult to understand FDC issues at the moment. But well, maybe we have to wait up
It's a confusing situation for the political landscape, and a formidable party as FDC is, there is no need for this kind of crisis to reach the proportion that it has reached. Let me just take care of you. We have seen you journalists grapple, field journalists grapple with covering some of these stories, including beatings. The other day, our own Anwalu Katamba was...
It was terrible.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
Have we healed? Are we taken care of?
Chris, every time I think about that particular day, I get tortured, because never since I covered FDC, at least a year ago or 2 years now, I've never seen such a thing. I've always known FDC as this kind of a party that is so peaceful. You go to Najanankumbi and you feel you are at peace. Personally, this is what I'm telling you. I go there, but the events of that day left me worried. And believe you me, there are many of my colleagues who, at the moment, you tell them we have a press conference maybe at the FDC headquarters, and they don't
want to go.
They will be like, we're not going there. What I want to assure is that the party did well to really come out and apologize, but that was, of course, after public outcry that how can such a thing happen, and you don't even issue an apology. We saw the president, Patrick Oboi Amriat, issuing an apology, the party as well. But I'm happy that some of our colleagues who were really beaten terribly and their gadgets stolen, the phones, the what, the party made an attempt to compensate some of them. I don't know how many of them were compensated, but at least I know 2 or 3 people who were given new phones. But that alone tainted the image of FDC with allegations that the party had planted some goons within the party to purportedly distract or prevent a group of other people to enter there, and the media as well. Remember, the chairman had a press conference that same day, but he was not allowed to go there. What happened? We all know what happened.
He ended up scaling the wall.
I'm telling you.
Very, very deplorable picture.
But it is really a tug of war to get information, especially under such circumstances, whereby everybody wants to, play it cool, for lack of a better word. And that, of course, makes our work as journalists very hard to convince a source to give you that information. And now that people don't want to be associated with a specific camp, someone will not want to be entirely, attached to Najanankumbi or Katonga, where BSJ sits.
Isn't that affecting the quality of beat journalism, where a trainee comes into the profession and wants to focus solely on the political beat? If they are such incidents and people are beginning to think twice, isn't it going to affect the quality of journalism? Because when you are doing just about everything every day, you're into health, you're into this and the other, you fail to create a secure and straight pattern of work.
Well, Chris, I think it could be, but not to a larger extent. We've got a lot of political parties here. Issues are coming up every other day. We've got National Unity Platform traversing the entire country. If a journalist or if a budding journalist want to really focus a lot on politics, well, you could say, for me, I don't want to cover FDC for now. Let me concentrate on these other political parties. NRM is there. All these guys are coming up with political statements every other day. So I really don't think it's going to affect that particular thing.
All right, Daniel Kibet, a reporter with the Nation Media Group, specifically NTV, many thanks for the perspective. We are emboldened in our understanding of what's happening at the Forum for Democratic Change. One very last question. As we head into 2026, do you think the political landscape is safe? Let me put you on the spot on that. Chris,
that is a little bit tricky question.
Very tricky question.
Very tricky. But you can read from the script what is happening. Clearly, NUPAS showed their aggressiveness and how prepared they are for the 2026 market. Is next year is 2024, 2025. We'll be going into campaigns. That is a campaign year.
That's campaign year.
We just have barely 1 year to go. But clearly, you've seen people have started campaigning, at least for NUP. FDC maybe after their national delegates conference of 6th October of electing their leaders, maybe after that they will get direction, and from there we'll know maybe if they are going to put more emphasis on the 2026. For NRM, for now, we cannot tell, and I'll leave it at that for now.
NRM is toasting right now to some bit of beer. But anyway, thank you very much, Daniel Kibet.
Thank you, Chris.
That is Daniel Kibet, reporter of the Nation Media Group, specifically NTV. We are going into our discussions and an overview of the International Day of Democracy. We shall be understanding the renaissance in the age of globalization. Stay with us. I'll be right back with my guests.